Back in 2012, fast food workers began to stage protests, walking off their jobs to demand a raise in their earnings. The movement, which started in New York, quickly spread to various cities nationwide. For instance, just a few months back this year, on April 15th, thousands of fast food workers and activists orchestrated a massive strike across the nation with one purpose: to raise the minimum wage. However, this labor movement has not only targeted fast food chains. Instead, in the last few years, from the start of the campaign to raise the minimum wage, the movement has spread to various places of employment. Retail stores like Walmart, home and childcare services, convenience stores, universities, and many more. In fact, University of California was the first educational institution to commit to a wage increase, while Massachusetts and Oregon have recently agreed to raise minimum wage for home care workers, with New York aimed to establish a complete statewide wage raise. Meanwhile, one thing that binds all these labor movements together is your single-minded fixation on a national $15 minimum wage. Fight for 15, as the movement is generally called. So what is the big deal with the number 15, and where does it come from? While anyone could see the dramatic increase $15 is from the current national minimum wage, which is $7.25, let's briefly review the explanation behind this number. Politicians and activists pushing to raise the minimum wage to $15 argues that it is the reasonable number to complement current cost of living in the US. MIT Living Wage Calculator estimated that in both Washington, D.C. and Cameron County, Texas, two regions with vastly different real purchasing power, only a single adult was shown to be able to get by on less than $15. Basically, the running idea is that Americans need to be paid a $15 minimum wage to have a good life in today's economy. Unfortunately, $15 minimum wage comes with too many side effects that the Fight for 15 community fails to see. Before I talk about the consequence of raising the minimum wage to $15, it is worthwhile to look at a particular history we have with increasing minimum wages. In 2007, the Congress passed a $7.25 minimum wage increase in American Samoa. Economic researcher James Shirk equated this increase to raising the minimum wage to $20 an hour in the continental US due to a largely separate economy in Samoa. After the wage increase started to take effect, Samoan tuna canning industry began to lay off employees and cut working hours, and even an entire cannery shut down in 2009. Similar changes are happening in cities that have passed $15 minimum wage law. In Seattle alone, the first city to pass $15 minimum wage law, aftermath of raising the minimum wage like in Samoa can be seen in many areas. As expected, prices on just about everything has gone up. Many long-time Seattle restaurants have closed altogether, with some other that have implemented a 15% surcharge to cover the higher wages. There is also an unexpected side effect, such as workers wanting to work less, and the reason for this, to stay on government welfare programs because the $15 minimum wage disqualified them from receiving their benefits. As a result, Seattle's welfare caseload has remained virtually unchanged. Meaning, while the raise in minimum wage was supposed to lift low-income workers out of poverty, it has only encouraged people to work less for more economic gains. These changes are just in the city of Seattle alone, and to think that $15 minimum wage law is spreading fast, it is quite frightening to imagine the economic and social degradation it will bring nationwide. Instead of raising the national minimum wage to $15 an hour, there are more responsible alternatives. Number 1. Expand the Earned Income Tax Credit, which benefit workers based on their total family income rather than on individual income and minimum wage. Number 2. Lowering the price of health insurance premiums. Number 3. Increase employee value by implementing training programs for low-skilled minimum wage workers. Finally, number 4. Reduce taxes for small businesses and entrepreneurs who can turn around and redistribute the incentive. Thank you for watching.